When we go shopping, we make choices. There are many goods and services competing for our attention. Many companies competing for our money. The economist's perspective in understanding the decisions of consumers is that people bring their preferences to the marketplace and make purchases that will maximize their sense of satisfaction or utility. Most of us would like to have an array of food, clothing, travel, holidays, entertainment and so on. But we have to buy subject to a constraint. We're constrained by a limited income and by the price we have to pay to make any purchase. On a larger scale, governments are also interested in how people use their money. Governments are interested in demand, the pattern of demand across the whole society. When income changes, what will it do to consumption demand? What will it do to the volume of savings? Now, to examine these relationships, we'll find linear equations very useful. Every individual makes unique choices, and no two people use their income in exactly the same way. However, the principles that economists use to consider budget constraints are much the same for everyone. Sarah lives at home with her mother and father while studying business at the local university. How do you keep the costs down? It must be an expensive business being a student.
Yes, very.
So how do you go about surviving?
With a job and living at home mostly.
Okay, so you've got a part-time job which gives you something at least to live on. What kind of things do you spend the money on?
Clothing and clothes, shoes, my nails. That's about it really, that's all my money, and my car.
Food and housing are provided by her family, so Sarah can spend all her limited income on the two big loves of her life, clothing and entertainment. She earns £600 each month through a part-time job. On average, an item of clothing costs £20 and an evening of entertainment costs £50. Linear equations will help us to understand the budget constraints she faces. Although Sarah's situation is unique, we can apply these basic principles to any budget constraint. We can plot many economic relationships using coordinates. Where this represents 0 for both axes. And usually, but not exclusively, economists are interested in this coordinate because this is where we have both numbers being positive, and most economic relationships, price, quantity, etc., we're looking at positive amounts. So for our student, she's choosing between evenings out and clothing. We could represent her choices in the following way. We could say that the number of evenings out that she has we'll call X. The price of each evening out we'll call the price of X. So the total amount that she could spend if she chose all of her income on going out would be PX times the number of evenings out X. And that's represented by this spot. With this spot here represents her other possible choice, in this case clothing. If we call that Y, the total amount that she could spend on clothing would be PY times Y. Or she could distribute her expenditure between the two such that she could have any combination of clothing and evenings out represented by her budget line. We'll let M be the monthly income. So her budget constraint is then P sub X, X plus P sub Y, Y must equal M. Since Sarah has told us what her income is,
and what it costs to purchase her chosen goods and services, we're now in a position to establish all the possibilities open to her.